Hey, welcome back to the table. It's been a couple days since I last played this, and I know some folks, you'll see some comments about where's video number 4, stuff like that. I ran into a lot of issues uploading those last set of videos, and it definitely took a while, but hopefully they should all be there, and this should be video number 6 right now. I reoriented the game board to look like it would facing us. It's going to be really difficult to reach really far up, but I do confess that other than reaching for the components that are nestled up there, which we don't have to do, right? We can just grab some of these and put them in there, right? We don't have to keep them in their various spots. Beyond that, it's a really nice, obviously we can read this, and I took the decks of cards and I put it like this, so that way we can it's easier to read and manage. So just a quick state of the union. The AI is playing horribly, which hasn't impressed me very much. I'm not saying that I'm playing wonderfully myself, but this is my first game against the AI, actually my first real game period other than doing the playthrough. So I don't expect myself to be doing well, but I gave sort of a quick rundown at the end of the last video. This is a coin game. It's not going to disappoint you if you love coin games, but I don't think it's going to sway you if you haven't liked the previous ones. The one thing I will say though is that for example, the non-player aid chart again, and just some of the things that they did from a production quality perspective is amazingly superior. They keep getting better and better every time. This Arjuna AI system is easy to use. That part I give it huge credit for. It hasn't been very smart though. So that's the part that I'm a little disappointed in. And you know what? I realize I mentioned Pendragon way too much, but I think the Barbarian AI is good because the barbarians in that game are simple in terms of what they want to do. Whereas in this game, there's nothing simple about any of these factions. And I think that's the difference, is I felt like I had a better challenge in the other game, largely because the AI was simple and therefore it was effective. And so there might be a false equivalency going on there. But let's just keep playing this out. And so my commitment for this series is I'm going to probably go at least until the first campaign ends. I do not know if I'm going to play an entire game. And then here's what's really bad, is we're only on card here. These are the cards we've gone through so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're on the 6th card right now. I already want to play a different faction. I think trying to hold on to these railroads is tough. The fact that the AI is not doing anything against the railroads is just me getting lucky because the AI is bad. But I think playing as the Raj is actually really tough. All the forces are against you here. But they do have some powerful things, so let's go ahead and keep going. As you can see here, the Congress and the Muslims are next, and then we're out. And the revolutionaries are out. So we start with the Muslims first, right? Because they're right here. And so we can see you can set the restraint to 2, which it already is, and set 2 spaces with Raj control to pass it. That of course helps us. That's probably why we like it. Set restraint to 4 and place a protest marker in any 2 spaces with Raj control. This does not help the Muslims at all, and we can verify that here by does it add, and see there's add protest helps Congress. It doesn't help the Muslims. It's not taking pieces from out of play, and it's not removing those things. Okay, so so this is not something they want to do. Now they are first eligible, so we'll do the first eligible chart here. Is it critical and effective? No. Is the next eligible? Could choose it as a critical event, and the answer is no. Will be first eligible in the upcoming critical event. So let's check that real quick. They actually will be first on the next one, but it is not considered critical. Okay, so that's a no. So they're going to do an op plus SA. So let's do that. And they're going to go here to an op plus special activity, like so. And then we're going to go ahead and just grab their AI card. Oh, and somebody mentioned that, how do you know which side's the face-up side? See, says Q. If you flip it over, QQ. So that's how you know. This is the other side. This is the face-up side. So thank you for that advice to whoever mentioned that. So are there any available protest markers? The answer is yes, there's 2. So we're going to go down to here. Any Muslim League activists in spaces without protest? And the answer is absolutely yes. In fact, just to give you a quick perusal, this one has protest. Okay, that one does not, that one does not, and that one does not. Right? I don't know why they care about protest so much, but let's find out. Select spaces using place protests. They're going to do civil disobedience. And this is for the Muslims, so let's find out what civil disobedience does for them. So I'm going to zoom this out a little bit. So it says place protests and occupy railways. Spaces with a Muslim League base plus spaces with Muslim League activists up to unity. First, in each space, place an available protest marker, if none. That lets you flip the activist. Then, if desired, move any Muslim League activists onto adjacent railways. Well, let's do it one at a time here. First things first, it says select spaces using place protests. Now, one of the advantages of moving this board like I did is we can actually get, if I move some stuff out of the way here, we can actually get our card down so we can look at it. And so we go here to the Muslim League one. Sorry for the shaky camera. Place protests right here. So they do have a column, and it says not at active opposition. So anywhere that's not active opposition is top priority. And we can only place it in the spaces where there's an activist. And you can see here it's bases plus unity. So there are 0 bases, by the way, but the unity is only a 2. So we're going to be placing 2 protest markers, which, by the way, there is only 2 protest markers available. So I'm going to go ahead and reach across the camera here and grab those. All right, so places that are not in opposition. Well, this one, East Bengal, is in opposition. So the first protest marker is going to go here in West Bengal. That flips that over. And that actually would cause us to lose control, but it's already a Muslim state. And then over here in Punjab. So that becomes active, and now there's 2 of them and 2 of us. So we're very close to losing control there. If that guerrilla were to become active, that would be a done deal. So that is that. It was really easy. Once we eliminated one of the 3 options, the other ones became easy. And then if Raj is the player, which in this case it is, from space with 3 or more, and then ML stands for Muslim League pieces, get 1 activist onto a railway, highest econ first. There's not 3 or more in any of these. This is part of the AI's little wonky thing, but okay, so then here, what I would suggest if I were to change these cards is that I would want 3 or more activists in a space before we did civil disobedience. I think there's a smarter move to put more activists on the board that should have been done first, and that this card should not be done until that happens. But anyways, now we're going to select a special activity. So the first thing they want to do is negotiate to place a Muslim state or remove one unrest. So let's see what negotiate does. That, of course, requires us to get out the... So negotiate is up here. So remove unrest or establish a Muslim state. So one space with a Muslim League activist and no Raj control. Not selected for operations. So it can't be a place that was selected for the operations. Well, that I don't think it's possible then. Well, actually, it is. East Bengal, we didn't select that one. But that one has Raj control. And it says it must not have Raj control. So none of that's available. So we can't do negotiate. So let's see if there's another one. So if we don't do negotiate, then we move down to, there's no crisis, infiltrate, to replace one adversary. That one is probably doable. Okay, so infiltrate here. Sorry. So take over a piece or establish a Muslim state. So it can go with any op. It's in one space with an activist. In the space, either replace a sepoy, guerrilla, or protest marker with an activist, or if during a crisis you get a Muslim state, which we don't have that. So now remember, there's this adversary priority table. So just to repeat ourselves, it's a sepoy, guerrilla, or protest marker. Can be replaced with a Muslim League activist. And the protest marker is the first priority there, okay? So there are several protest markers out there. There's one in the city here, which we actually didn't do. Obviously there's one up there and there's one here, okay? So we do want to replace it with a marker, and of course we're gonna have to roll some dice. So let's grab, the green will be the leftmost, and I'm gonna roll over here. And I got a 6-6, okay? So let's figure out what, so 6 is the southern region, and then Madras, and then of course it's gonna loop to 1-1, which is gonna be Karachi, and then it's gonna go barrel through 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, 1-5, and then it's gonna get to 1-6, right? Because that actually has a protest marker. So this protest marker is gonna go away. And so we put it back, we get another one of these markers, and we put it on, and since the protest marker is gone, they're no longer active, and so now there's just 2 inactive. So one thing I do find interesting is the whole active-inactive dynamic, and how the protest marker helps them to cause the Raj to lose control, but you can exchange protests, so that basically the protest goes, dies down, but more people join the cause. And so like the protest was still successful, right? It didn't cause the Raj to lose control, but now there's more people behind the cause. And then if a protest were to start up again, there's going to be even more people showing up to the protest than there was before. That part is, the thing you got to hand to any coin game is that the thematic elements to it is awesome. And so I think this is the first Bruce Mansfield game I've ever played, and he's doing an excellent job in that regard. I really feel like, the Muslim League just gained some protesters and gained some support in Punjab to form Pakistan. So I know I spent some time talking about what I don't like about this, but I do like that, and that is definitely amazing. And I've never played Fire in the Lake, and I actually really want to. The problem is, of course, the bots, and I'm hoping they come up with this Arjuna really quick for that, because I think that would be very helpful. But anyways, now what would also be interesting is if you're playing all sides schizophrenically, would I make different choices? I think the answer is yes, I would, but I really have a hard time playing a game like this schizophrenically, because what one person wants to do is going to be different than what I want to do. If my heart's always tied to a certain player, even if I'm trying to play all the sides. So unless I agree to an AI from the start, it's not very good. But all right, they're done. So now it's the Congress's turn, and they can choose an event or a limited operation. So let's figure out if they're going to do the event. Remember, the event for them is not critical, but it is effective for them because they can place protest markers, although there's only one available. Okay, so it says active faction will be first eligible in the upcoming critical event. No, it won't be. First eligible chose Ops plus SA and the event is effective. And the answer is yes, they are choosing the event. Now, the event is effective because it's adding a protest. Now, I will say that that's not necessarily the best move for them, because although a limited operation is not very good, so maybe, yeah, that's good for them. So what they're going to do is it sets the restraint to 4. Setting the restraint to 4, remember, limits the number of times the guerrillas are going to get to go. If they, so it's going to reduce the amount of guerrilla actions that can be done with the AI. It's also going to change our cost to do things when it's our turn to 4 instead of the 3 it's currently at. Now, it says place a protest marker in any 2 spaces with Raj control. Now, here's something that's important to understand. The restraint's going to go to 4, and if you remember, only the protest markers that are at the strength level and above are available, okay? So you may say to yourself, well, okay, there's no protest marker available, so Gandhi just screwed himself, the Congress, right? But events must be executed to the letter. And so in this case, you get to take from the bottom. So he can take the very last protest marker. He doesn't even have to take this one. He gets to pick. And this protest marker is going out no matter what, because the event overrides the rules. And so where would it go? Well, that's going to be based on the chart. But if the AI is smart, they're going to put it right here in Punjab, because that's where Gandhi is. And the British would lose, we would lose control. That's where it should go. Well, and they don't even have protesters in more than a few spaces here. But let's figure out where exactly it'll go. Oh, here it is. Okay, so you can see here the place protest column where it's not at active opposition, which is definitely Punjab. And Delhi is another area. I guess you could place it somewhere else too. It doesn't have to be a place where they're located. Somewhere that's 2 pop. Well, that's not Delhi. And then a non-Muslim space is next. And then lastly, 1 random space. Now, what's interesting is the protest doesn't need to go where there's Raj control. It doesn't need to go where there's even their own activists. But I'm going to say that Punjab is where it should go. I don't think that they benefit from putting a protest marker, it's like the United Provinces, for example. There's not even an activist there. So you could strictly look at this and say, well, it said a 2-pop place, and where there's not opposition, right, that this qualifies for that. And it's also not even a Muslim space, because that's the other thing too, is here, let's get this down so you can see it. So right here, place protest, not at active opposition. Okay, that's half the board. 2-pop, okay, that eliminates some of the board. Non-Muslim space, that actually eliminates Punjab. And then a random space is what it's saying. So if you're being strict about it, they may want to put a protest marker here at the United Provinces. That's what I'm getting at. Whereas if they put it here, it actually would cause the Raj to lose control. But see, that's not one of the options here. They could have put, it's like, you know, would one of these cause Raj to lose control? If so, then put it there. But it doesn't say that. So let's take it for its word. I mean, we have to do a non-Muslim space that's 2 pop and random. So that's what the AI is saying. It's not what I would do, but let's try it. Green is leftmost. 1 and 2. 1, it's up in the Punjab area, and 2. So we're doing non-Muslim, so we got to skip all that. So now we go to 2, 1, and 2, you can see, is this area up here, and United Provinces is the second choice. So United Provinces is where it's going to go. So the protest marker does nothing currently, but you know, if they can get an activist to move there, it'll immediately become active. And in fact, well, Raj is already not controlling it, but I don't know what good that does, but that's where the AI would put it. So that's it. It's the end of their turn. So they become ineligible. These 2 become eligible. And here's our cards. So let's take a quick look. This one is preemptive strike on movement leaders. So arrest up to twice a die roll total of activists in any spaces. Every Congress official is in jail. We've even arrested neighbors of Hillary. That's funny. Release a die roll of jailed activists to any 3 spaces. Okay, so this is arrest or release card. And then the next one. In West Bengal and East Bengal, remove 1 guerrilla in each space for every cube there. Then activate all guerrillas. Well, East Bengal has 1. Add up to 3 guerrillas to East Bengal and or West Bengal, then flip any guerrillas there underground. Okay, so a lot of revolutionary stuff in the next card, but not, so this is an effective card, but not a critical card for the revolutionaries. So if you look here, the revolutionaries go first. They go before us, so we're gonna evaluate them. And this is a put in jail, release from jail thing, so it's not necessarily an effective card for them. So I'm going to pull out the AI sheet. So current event is critical and effective. No. Next eligible would be critical. No. Will be first eligible in the upcoming critical event. No, it's not critical. So they're doing the full and special, which hurts us a bit because now if we do go, we're going to have a limited operation. And I know we didn't explain what limited operation means, but a limited operation means, so let's say you can do something on 4 spaces. A limited operation means you can only do it on 1. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is a limited operation means you don't get to do a special activity. So you can only do the left side of the actions. So remember, there's an operation and then there's special activity. A limited operation means you're only doing the left side. And then here you could see, like, this says any spaces with Raj forces, the assault. A limited operation is you got to change this to 1 space with Raj forces. And that's it. That's what limited operation means. So it's definitely going to hamper you a bit. Now, the advantage, though, is you could do the event, which in our case, we can put stuff in jail. You know, maybe that's helpful. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Stuff that's in jail, you can do, remember during the imperialism step, we can release stuff from jail and then get things, bonuses for ourselves, right? So maybe we want to do that because a limited operation is just not going to be all that fun. The other thing to look at here is the next card. You can see we get to go first. So if we pass this round, we're going to get $3 because that's what this does for us. We get 3 resources. So that'll be money in the bank for us. And we'll get to go first next round, and we'll get to screw over one of these 2 because it'll actually be Congress, possibly, because we get to go first, and then they go, and then Congress won't even get a chance. Okay, so that's a possibility. And, we could even do the event next round and remove gorillas. There's 2 in one spot and there's nothing in the other. Gorillas do not help the Muslims at all, so there's no risk of them doing this event. So a lot of choices there. Unless this card is awesome, my advice is passing in order to screw over these guys the next turn is not a bad idea. I don't want to say that it's awful. It's actually in the it depends category on whether or not you want to do it. And here's your pros and cons. Obviously, preventing one of these two from going is your pro. The second thing is obviously you have nothing to lose because you might think you have nothing to lose because you get to go first. And really, you want to do this if this particular event is helpful to you, or if you really want to do a command plus a special action, which is what this will allow you to do, right? So that's your pro. That's the reason to do it. Now, here's why you don't want to do that. The largest reason is you don't know what's next, this next card right here. And if you go during this turn, you're going to be ineligible when that next card is drawn. And if that next card has a killer event on it, and some of them do, you will not be able to do anything about it. Whereas if we go during this turn, okay, we're going to be ineligible for this card, which doesn't hurt us too badly. And when they reveal this card, we're going to be eligible for it. So it's sort of like a how much does the unknown scare you kind of thing. Okay, so with all that said, let's do their turn first before we worry about ours. And I'm going to draw one of their cards. Are there 6+ gorillas in India? That is a good question. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gorillas in India. So the answer is yes. This is an interesting one. So we're going to select a special activity first. So this is a cool card. They're going to do a special activity before they do the command, which is allowed. So is there a crisis? No. Infiltrate, to replace one adversary. So let's figure out if they're going to do that. All right, so infiltrate for them. Take over a piece or place a base, of course, in any space with an underground gorilla. And they're going to put they're going to put a base in if only a crisis. So they're going to replace a sepoy, activist, or protest marker with an underground gorilla. And remember, protest marker is the top priority. We know that from this. This priority list doesn't change. So protest marker is always in front of sepoy or activist, which by the way is way in the end. Okay, so protest marker is the thing that the AI really wants to manipulate. So what they want to do is they want to replace a protest marker with an underground gorilla, and there's a lot of those out there. Now it has to be a space that already has one. So let's take a look real quick and see if there's any that qualify. So protest marker here, but there's no gorilla. There's no protest markers on these. There's no protest marker there. Oh, look at that. There's actually one here. So they're going to get rid of this protest marker. And by the way, it always goes bottom up. So we're going to put it there. And they actually get another gorilla in the United Provinces. So that was interesting how Gandhi and them played on each other. Okay, so we did that, and then it says die roll less than or equal to available gorillas. Available gorillas is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The answer is yes. We don't even have to roll a die. So now we're going to do a rally. So we're going to place bases where gorillas exceed unity, and unity is only 2. Unfortunately, there's nowhere where there's 3 gorillas. So we're probably not going to be doing that. But we're going to select spaces using place gorillas. And then move 1 gorilla from out of play to available. So that's what we're going to do. That's not a bad move. This is good AI play here. So we're going to do place guerrillas, which is part of the rally action. So let me put this down. Let me zoom you in a little. So here you can see it says cities, provinces, and states without support, plus any with a revolutionary base. Those are what's available. Now, the problem is it says without cities, provinces, and states without support. Sorry. It's going to cost one resource, but remember the AI doesn't do resources in this. Instead, it's a max of 3. But remember, the restraint got moved up to 4, so the die roll is not going to be their friend. Since the restraint is high, the guerrillas don't have a lot of momentum. Okay, so first, in each space, either place a guerrilla equal to 1 plus bases, or replace guerrillas. So we're going to have to figure out where do they want to place these. So we got a nice little place guerrillas option here. And it says revolutionary base without guerrillas. There are no revolutionary bases. Unrest without guerrillas. That's a good question. There is an unrest in East Bengal, but it has a guerrilla. That's the only unrest marker out there. Okay, most revolutionary bases. Nope. 1 to 2 guerrillas and no revolution right there. That's where we want to go. So 1 to 2 guerrillas and no revolutionary base. So that's actually several places. It's the United Provinces. Up there, United Provinces, the East Bengal, or Bombay Presidency. Those are the 3. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. 2 pop is the next one. The Bombay Presidency is 2 pop. Let me zoom you out here. Bombay Presidency is 2 pop. East Bengal's 2. All 3 of them are 2 pop. So that didn't narrow it down. Next, most guerrillas. They're all tied. Next, fewest cubes. That's an interesting one. So that eliminates East Bengal. And that means United Provinces and Bombay are the 2. Raj, let's see, let's keep going. Random. So we're going to do random. All right, so again, green is the left. So I rolled a 2-1. Let's look at our chart. I don't have it memorized yet. So 2 is United Provinces. You can see right there. So United Provinces is going to get another guerrilla. So I'm going to grab one from the available, put it in there. Obviously, it's going to be underground because that's what the rules say. And then we're going to roll a die to see if they can place another one. This is what's interesting, is they actually, with the command, can place more than one. But obviously, if they had to manage resources, they have to spend money for each one. And since the AI doesn't use resources, we get this little thing. So remember, the restraint is a 4. So if they need to roll a 5 or a 6 to be able to place another one, otherwise they're stopping. And they rolled a 2, so they're stopping. And I think thematically, that is actually still quite good. I know I explained this before, but since the restraint is high, that means that the Raj is allowing the people to have freedom and freedom of speech and blah, blah, blah. So therefore, it's really hard to motivate guerrillas to want to, be violent when the government is really not stepping in and trying to interfere with you. Okay, so that's everything for them. And then, of course, don't forget the move a guerrilla from out of play to available, which there's only 2 of them out of play. I'm going to reach across the camera here. And it goes into available, so they, once again, have 6 available. Okay, so now it's going to be our turn. We get to do the event or a limited operation. And I think we're going to go ahead and do the event. And it says we can arrest up to twice a die roll total of activists in any spaces. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I want to look at arrest one more time, make sure there's no rules I'm missing with it. They do have a, at the end of the rule book, and I'm looking at the playbook instead, at the end of the rule book, they do have like a little glossary chart, key terms. And what I found is it also counts as like it's an index as well. It does say key terms index, but what's nice about it is, for example, I'm like, okay, where in the rule book do I need to go? Well, arrest, I can send Gandhi and activists to jail, and then it says go to 1.3.9. And this is the part where GMT is awesome. I mean, sometimes they bounce you around too much, but I am very confident that 1.3.9 is going to tell me everything I need to know about arrests. So the jail box is used to hold Gandhi and activists arrested during the Raj assault operation, treaty and govern special activities, or placed there by events. Pieces in jail are not considered on the map and are not available until released. Congress negotiates, and then it's telling you what actions can release them. When instructed to arrest NV pieces, move them to the jail box. That's it. I thought that when Gandhi went to jail that something special would happen, but maybe that's per some action or activity. Now, it's linking all kinds of other stuff like 3.2.4, which is just the action where you're arresting people through a Raj action, for example. So 3.2.4 is assault. So guerrillas and bases are removed to available. Gandhi and activists are arrested and moved to jail. And here we go. This is what I was looking for. Right there, Gandhi. Gandhi is arrested like NV activist, though he is always active. Though Raj may always choose to arrest Gandhi, it is not required to do so unless forced. If Gandhi is arrested during a Raj operation or special activity, at the end of the Raj turn, shift restraint -1. Then Congress may place up to 2 available protest markers that do not already have one in non-railway spaces. Okay, but here's the key thing, and this is what was in the back of my mind and why I was looking in the rules. When you arrest Gandhi during an operation or special activity, restraint gets shifted -1. This is an event, so I can arrest Gandhi without any penalty. That's the concept. So that event is not quite as bad as maybe I thought, but let's make sure. Here's the other thing. It says activists, and it does not say Gandhi. So while I just clarified what I did, I'm going to clarify it even further and say I'm not allowed to arrest Gandhi. Now, unless there's somewhere in the rules that says Gandhi is always considered an activist, that's a good question. Let me look that up real quick. He's the Congress leader, 1.4.5. All right, so now I need to look up activist because he might be listed there. Sorry for the delays here, folks. Again, I just want to get it right and make sure I have all my 1.4. Indian National Congress activists, the orange cylinders, and Gandhi, the large orange cylinder. The Congress faction icon is a spinning wheel, Those are considered forces. Okay, so here's what I'm going to go off of to resolve this. Right here it says activists, and it just lists the cubes. Gandhi is the leader. He's not considered an activist. He's just always active, which I know gets crazy. Activist, active. But I'm going to stick with my original ruling and then counter ruling, which is if I did arrest Gandhi through an event, those penalties don't happen to me, but this particular event is not letting me arrest Gandhi, only activists. So I'm going to roll a die, and it said double the number of dice, right? So let's do that. Of course I roll a 1. Oh, you suck. So 2 activists, and I'm a little concerned over here, so I'm going to arrest 2 Muslim activists. So let's do that. I actually want to arrest the Gandhi one, but I only rolled a 1, so that stunk. Okay, so we go to ineligible. They're back to eligible. This is flipping, and now let's see what this next card is. And that is the Akali movement. And look at this. This is critical for everybody but us. It might still be good, though, that although this is critical for black, and you can see here, black's going to get to go before us. So, but the good news, though, is if they take the event, we get to do a full operation plus special action. So it's still sort of working out for us, but let's see what it says. Place up to 6 cubes in Punjab. This is actually nice for us, except we don't have any cubes to place. Although we can take them off the map. And in up to 2 spaces, add 1 protest or unrest marker, then shift each of those spaces 1 level towards active opposition. That is actually pretty bad for us, and the guerrillas actually will benefit from that. So, but we can probably recover from that. So, okay, I'm at 41 minutes. Let's go ahead and figure this out. This is our current card. We see, by the way, that Congress is looking at this as a critical action. So we might get screwed, is what I'm trying to say, because Congress might wait to do this action, which then means the revolutionaries go, and then we're going to be skipped out of a turn. So we may have been better off passing, but it is what it is. Okay, so now it's Green's turn, and actually we could have, well, no, it would have worked out still where they would have gotten to do it. But okay, Green, it lets you put guerrillas on the board. So I don't think this is effective for Green. Let's look real quick. So Green is interested in Muslim League pieces or protest to Muslim spaces. Oh, they do want protest markers, but only if it's on their spaces. But that's not what the revolutionaries wanted. And yeah. Okay, so they're not doing anything there. Current event is critical and effective. No, next eligible is critical and effective. Next eligible could choose critical event. The answer is no. Nobody's critical in this one. And the next eligible, of course, is orange, and it's not critical for them. So they're not going to try to, screw orange out of their critical event. Will they be first eligible on the upcoming event? No, they won't. So they're going to do an op plus SA. So that. And let's grab their card, another green here. Negotiate would place a Muslim state. Ooh. All right. Negotiate. They have to have Muslim League activists and no Raj control. If Muslim opposition province where Muslim League pieces exceed Congress pieces, set the space to passive support and place a Muslim state marker. So it has to be an opposition province where Muslim League pieces exceed Congress. Interesting. West Bengal for sure already has the Muslim state. East Bengal satisfies that. And then nowhere else. I mean, if you look at all the other, this board's pretty empty right now. So negotiate would place a Muslim state. Let me just check real quick, like what else, what's the other thing that it would place? If there's an unrest, it would shift space. Oh, is there opposition? Yes, there is. So East Bengal would actually become a Muslim state. That's interesting because we have troops there. Okay, so yes, select one special activity, negotiate to place a Muslim state. So this is the only place that it would be, and they're going to kick Raj control out, which is even more interesting, and it's going to flip to a Muslim state. So they get 4 points and we lose 2. So we're going to drop to 24, and they're going to go up to 10. They're actually close to winning the game because they have 2 states. And then the next thing that happens is our troop is going to go to a city, the nearest city. So Calcutta gets the troop because you can't have troops in Muslim states. They get kicked out. So we got to figure out how to get rid of those Muslim states. And I think the answer is we're going to be moving troops into them very soon. So now die roll is less than or equal to available plus the activists in jail. Well, there's 2 activists in jail and there's 6 eligible, so the answer is yes. So we're going to do a rally. So they're going to place bases where Muslim League activists exceed unity. The unity, by the way, is 2. So let's figure out what rally does for them. Okay, cities, provinces, and states with a Muslim League base plus neutral and opposition spaces up to unity. First, in each space, place Muslim League activists equal to 1 plus bases or replace Muslim League activists equal to unity with a base. Then either move 1 activist from out of play to available or release a die roll of activists, Muslim League plus Congress from jail to available. Okay, so this is an interesting action for them. And so let's remind ourselves what they want us to do. So first thing they want to do is place bases. So let's look at the neutral sheet and see where place bases is one of the options. So you can see in their priority list, place bases is right here. They want to go into a Muslim space, of course. Then they want to go where there's no base already, 2 pop, fewest cubes, and then random. Okay, so now how many bases are they going to place? It's equal to the number of bases that are already there, which is 0, plus the unity, which is 2. So they want to place a base twice. Interesting. So we're going to grab 2 bases from here, and they want to go where there's 2 pop, least amount of cubes, so 1 would go there, right? And I just need to check it again real quick. It has to be a Muslim location. Do we need to have troops there? I got to look at the rally action. Cities, province, and state with a Muslim League base plus neutral and opposition spaces up to unity. So it has to be neutral or opposition. So West Bengal is neutral, hence the reason they get a base. And then opposition would be East Bengal. And I want to do 2 pop. Sorry, I'm just reading, making sure I get this right. So what I'm concerned about is, can I just place this anywhere, even if there's no Muslim activists or Muslim anything? So they want to go where there's a Muslim space, where there's no base. So the second base is not going to go here. And by the way, the bases are limited to the population, but the population here is 2. So you could have 2 bases here, but that's not the priority. 2 pop. Fewest cubes, and then random, it says. So, technically speaking, I shouldn't even do this one because it's not what it's saying to do. Muslim space, no base, 2 pop, fewest cubes, random. So a Muslim space that has no base and is 2 pop is here for 1. And it's got to be neutral or opposing. In fact, this is the only place right there. So this one for sure is getting 1. So now the next one is not 2 pop. That's the problem. Oh no, there's a 2 pop right here. So they would put a base there. Now there's cubes here, but it has population of 2, so it satisfies the condition. And then the other condition is fewest cubes. All the other spaces are not. This one they can't do because it has active support. Remember, it has to be neutral or opposing support. So that's the reason why Punjab didn't qualify. And then of course the big cities are only 1 pop. So that's the reason why they're not choosing that. I hope that made sense. That's just first half of their action. So now we did place space. Oh no, I think we're going to be done. And then select spaces using place activists. Let me see that real quick. I think we might be done. No, we do it. So if there's 3 or more in jail, release prisoners. If not, move 1 Muslim League activist from out of play to available. So the place activists, yeah, that's just telling us what to do. So there's only 2 in jail, so we're not going to release any prisoners. Instead, we're going to release 1 or move 1 from out of. So that would be this to there. Okay, so now we get to Gandhi, who he's second eligible, but I'm pretty sure I know what he's going to do. But let's just play it out. So the active faction will be first eligible on an upcoming critical event and cannot execute any current critical event. Pass. And that's exactly what I think they're going to do, and here's why. The current event is not critical, okay? The next event, they're going to be first eligible, and it's critical. So they're actually going to pass, which screws us. And so then the round's going to end, and these are going to go here. This goes there, and this goes away, and we're going to be drawing the next one. All right, so we're at 52 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and end here, and we'll see you in a few minutes. I'm going to get a drink, and we're going to keep playing. So thanks for watching. Stay awesome. Let me know if you have any questions that I'm not answering. For the most part, I think we're getting a nice groove of going, and if I'm getting a few rules wrong, it's going to be some of the fringe things. The one thing I'm going to tell you I'm still nervous about rules-wise is how the railroads are going to work when protest markers go on railroads. Protest markers can go on railroads, and they haven't done that yet. So that's the part, like we keep putting them in provinces, but that's something I'm concerned I might be getting wrong. So I do want to check on that real quick in between videos here. So thanks for watching. Stay healthy, stay safe.